This is the NBA on NBC. Today, it's the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Detroit Pistons.
It's the 130th consecutive sellout at the Palace of Auburn Hills. In recent seasons, these teams have seemed to be on a collision course, headed for an actual or potential matchup in the NBA Finals. But in the past month or so, they've been on divergent paths. The Lakers basically hot, and the Pistons suddenly hobbled by injuries, and they have fallen, at least temporarily, from the ranks of the NBA elite. Bob Costas along with Pat Riley. Let's start with your old club. After a stumbling start, they had the 16-game winning streak. They have lost a few since then, including their last game Friday in Atlanta, but basically they're playing well.
And Bob, you know, they're developing a great feeling again. They're developing this championship feeling. Even though the Pistons have been mired with injuries, the Lakers themselves have been able to win without Magic. At one time this year, they won without Worthy for 3 or 4 games, and now they won 2 out of 3 games without Perkins. So they're a team that has had some adversity, but I do think the feeling that they're developing as a team, the chemistry, is allowing them to get a good shot, a crack at Portland for the best record in this league.
Now, as far as the Pistons are concerned, at one time they were pointing toward their usual 58 or 60 wins. Then Isaiah Thomas goes out, at least for the regular season, with the wrist injury. Well, they won their first 5 without him, but since then they're 4-5. They've lost a couple of home games, beaten at home by Indiana, blown out on the road by mediocre or less than mediocre teams like the Knicks and the Hornets. They're in trouble.
Well, right now you'd have to say it. Even Chuck Daly made this comment in the press last week that right now they're an average team. There's probably 6 or 7 teams in this league right now that are playing better than Detroit, but right now Detroit is not that championship team. They have these guys out, they have them hurt. What today is about, it's about championship teams that are born of special stuff. You win titles with more than just talent. You win it with substance, and I think you're going to see the substance of the Pistons rise to the occasion today.
Pistons had to make a roster move. John Sally out for at least 5 games on the injured list with a bad lower back. They made that move this morning. Here's Steve Jones to tell us about it. Snapper?
All right, Bob, there was a lot of speculation around this guard spot with all the injuries that they've had. Everybody was thinking maybe it would be Dennis Johnson. But Chuck Daly likes players that are familiar with things he does, so he called an old insurance salesman, Gerald Henderson. Henderson is here today. He is expected to play. They've given him a crash course, and you guys are going to get a crash course on what it's like to be here in the Palace of Auburn Hills. Back to you, Bob.
As you can hear, the place is jumping. We'll try and rise above the din with the starting lineups and the tip-off next.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By Federal Express, absolutely, positively the best in the business. And by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now.
The Lakers are 39-13, 4.5 back of Portland in the Pacific. The Pistons have fallen to 37-17 of late. Here is Mike Dunleavy's lineup. Magic and Byron Scott in the backcourt. They'll go with A.C. Green and Sam Perkins spot up front, and James Worthy, their leading scorer, the other forward. Vlade Divac's improved in every way in his second year out of Yugoslavia. And there is Dunleavy, the youngest coach by 5 years in the NBA at age 36. Chris Ford of the Celtics, the next youngest. Dumars and Vinnie Johnson in the absence of Isaiah Thomas in the backcourt for Chuck Daly. James Edwards, who might be able to do something against the relatively weak interior defense of the Lakers inside. Dennis Rodman, great defensive player, and Bill Laimbeer, whose scoring has fallen off in this his 11th NBA season. For Chuck Daly, the Olympic coach, and by a matter of months, the oldest coach in the NBA, a few months older than Cotton Fitzsimmons and Dick Motta. The tip to the Lakers. 114-90 winners back on December 4th at the Forum in LA over the Pistons. Rodman on Worthy, one of several key matchups.
Well, right now, excuse me, Bob, right now you're going to see James Worthy go early. Magic Johnson made the point yesterday when we talked to him. It's important to get James into the game early. He had 15 points in the first period out in the win for the Lakers in Los Angeles.
Laimbeer lets it go and hits it. A.C. Green out high for the Lakers, down 2-0.
Again to Worthy, low post, back in. This is their offense where they played from the inside out.
In and out off the glass, and Rodman, the 4th leading rebounder in the league, pulls it down, averaging better than 11 a game in that category. Edwards, the turnaround. He had 19 against them in December in Los Angeles. They have a tough time when they've got both Lambier and Edwards on the floor at the same time. The Lakers do, defensing that.
Well, right now you see Edwards and Lambier hitting 2 outside shots, and it's one of the things that is a strength of the Pistons, their big men being able to shoot from the perimeter.
Scott shot partially blocked. Lambier again has it spin out. AC Green with the rebound. Dumars trying to hold Magic off. No look pass inside the green for LA's first basket.
Moving without the basketball, they have learned over the years that if you have your hands up and ready, that Irvin Johnson is going to pick you out just about any place on the floor.
Dumars played all 48 minutes in the Friday loss at Charlotte and had 35. Swishes one here for a 6-2 lead.
There's the trap. Right now they're going double team on Magic. It looks like they will, and they'll probably play Worthy straight up.
Left him alone that time, and he drills the 20-footer.
But there wasn't a rotation. They went down on the dribble on Irvin. They 2-timed him in the post. The weak side defense of the Pistons has to step up and take the shooter, or they may have a philosophy where they're just going to give him the outside shot today.
Scott's got Dumars, runs him into an Edwards screen, then the return to James. Baseline. He's got a pair of buckets.
Pick and flare. A lot of 2-man games. Dumars, Edwards, Dumars, Lambier. They'll float to the corner because they can capitalize on the jumper. Magic in the post again.
Huge physical advantage on Dumars. Again, they leave Worthy alone. This time he can't convert. Whistle off the rebound.
That's a shot right there that James missed that you should hit 80% of the time. It's a shot that you work on in practice every day in our shooting drills, and it's a thing that over the course of this game the Pistons are going to have to take away.
Edwards picked up the foul. Lakers inbound. Worthy averaging 22 a game, his career high. Faking the hook, giving James another chance, and this time he puts it down.
Well, it's all perimeter right now. There's no doubt about that, and as long as the Lakers can knock them down, maybe the Pistons are going to take away all of those things that they want inside.
Pistons have hit 4 of their first 5 field goal attempts, and they lead 8-6. Lambier. Magic takes him. He goes to the left hand and misses. Rodman the follow, and he blows that, and it's Devon's out of Magic averaging better than 13 assists a game, second in the league to Stockton of Utah. To Green, bumped as he let it go. Magic's present pace, he will overtake Oscar Robertson right at the end of this season for the NBA's all-time assist record.
Well, he is a quality player all around, all over the court. He gets up in the air, and at 6'9", he's the kind of player that can pass over the top of people. He can see people. Like Spud Webb is unique to the Atlanta Hawks at 5'5". Magic at 6'9" has set a new prototype into this league, and he's very, very difficult to guard down into that post.
I asked Joe Dumars how he plans to defend Magic. He just smiled, shrugged his shoulders, said, look, I just try to hang in. There's nothing you can really do. You hope to make it as difficult for him to post up as possible. You know he's going to do it, but you hope to make him work to be able to do it, and then pray he's having something of an off game.
Well, today they want to make him a passer. It's obvious their defense is set up that way.
Vinnie Johnson, the veteran, misses the runner. Magic back. Even up at 8. Worthy thought about a 3. Dumars trying to hold him off. A tap to Byron Scott for the 3. And Lambier with a rebound. Rodman tried to whip it inside to Edwards off his hands. Lakers come back with a potential break. Scott's open left wing. Rodman another board. Only David Robinson, Akeem Olajuwon, and Patrick Ewing have more rebounds per game than Dennis Rodman, playing out of a forward spot. Dumars takes it all the way.
Well, they got a mismatch, they think at least, but Byron Scott on Rodman, they didn't use it. Dumars beat Magic going down the lane.
Lambier once again in typical fashion pleading his case.
Well, he's a guy right now that likes to win. There's no doubt about that. He's vital to this team. He has position there, but the position is the kind of position where he moved over, maybe got a hip in there, and again, it's a tough judgment call on the part of the official. But he will voice his opinion, as he always does. AC Green, Bob, doing a great job this year. Was a starter for 4 years. He was an Iron Man, very rarely ever misses a game. And when Perkins came, they realized that Sam's abilities better suited to a starter's role, and AC has given him energy coming off the court, off the bench.
1 of 2, pulling the Lakers within 1 at 10-9. Lambier. Edwards. And then the 20-footer. Green pulls it down. Nothing but purple shirts underneath that time. Scott from the right side.
Jumpers all over the place. Not much right now going to the basket. The defense doubling down, helping out, taking away the lanes. A lot of jumpers flying up from the outside.
Lakers' first lead midway through the first. Edwards from the foul line. He won't miss many of those. Exceptionally fine shooting touch for a man 7'1". Worthy wastes no time answering at the other end.
Well, you can say both teams came ready to play. There's no doubt about that.
What does this rivalry mean to the Lakers? You would know from that perspective. Dumars all the way to the hole again.
Well, it's the same kind of rivalry, Bob, as the Lakers and the Celtics had in the early 80s. I think the Pistons broke through back in the mid-80s. The back-to-back finals that we played against them developed a rivalry that I think a lot of teams would like to have when they're in the finals.
Divac really had to work for that, drawing the defense to him, and he gets the tough bucket. Rodman, AC Green backing off. They'll let him have that if he wants it. Edwards on Divac. That's going to be a theme here because Vlade will have a very difficult time defending Edwards.
Well, you have to take away the spot. Vlade Divac has to fight for position, try to root him out of the lane a little more. He's just letting him turn and get the rhythm of his jump shot, and that's his favorite shot.
Worthy fades on Rodman, and it's off the front iron. Edwards for the rebound. Dumars playing better than 40 minutes a game in Isaiah's absence. He'd been averaging 36 minutes per while Isaiah was healthy. He's the Pistons' leading scorer. Over Magic, it spins out. Rebound followed by Rodman. Goaltending on Divac. Score the 2 for Detroit.
The Pistons with the isolation. Now, Joe Dumars matched up on Magic Johnson, used the side to take it to the bucket, but you always have to concentrate on keeping Dennis Rodman off that board or picking up loose balls.
Inside 5 minutes, Pistons by 3. Divac screening for Johnson. And his pass through the lane off the hands of Green, picked up by Vinnie Johnson. Behind the back of the driving Rodman. Magic comes across the line, and the Lakers ask for time. 4:35 to play in the first. Detroit's on an 8-2 run. Watch Vinnie Johnson, not known so much as a passer, with the nifty behind-the-back feed to Rodman, who got down quickly on the break and gives them the lead of 5. Let's take a look back to June of '88. This is the shot Pat Riley calls the biggest of Byron Scott's life.
Well, we were 3 down at this time against the Pistons in the 6th game, about 37 seconds to go. Byron buries the big jumper. That allowed Kareem, who Lambier fouled, to hit 2 free throws to win the game for us. And it's just one of the shots that I think goes down in this rivalry with the Lakers that had make it what it is today.
A key element of the rivalry between the two, in addition to the great games, they've each had their successes and their heartbreaks, and they're each able to say, hey, if only. In the case of the Pistons, they say if only the foul hadn't been called on Lambier when it was questionable on Kareem's hook on the baseline in the closing seconds of Game 6. We're the champions. Here's Magic as we come back, hitting the 20-footer. Or if only Isaiah Thomas hadn't had to play through a painful ankle injury. Then a year later, you and the Lakers can say with some justification, we don't know if we would have won, but we could have taken them the limit had Byron Scott and Magic Johnson not gotten hurt.
Well, there are a lot of stories in this series, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more before it's over.
Edwards is 5 for 5.
Well, I think Chuck mentioned last night in our conversation it's important that Edwards, Dumars, and when Mark Aguirre comes off the bench, that those guys start delivering big-time, consistent numbers.
Byron Scott with the quick release shot off the baseline. It's 22-17 Pistons. Edwards, let's see if he looks for it again. Divac is alone with him. Fouled him. It would have counted. He finally misses on his 6th attempt, but he's coming to the free throw line.
James Edwards is the kind of player that you have to get off the spot right here. Vlade Divac gets knocked off balance. James Edwards has a tendency to be able to step back and shoot the jumper right here, probably out of frustration because Edwards had hit 5 in a row. Vlade follows through and commits the cardinal sin. You never really want to foul a jump shooter while he's in the act of taking that shot.
Edwards is a post player. Lambier is not. That's why he's so important, Edwards. Although he might not get all the headlines of some of his teammates, he is a very important situational player for the Pistons.
Well, I think ever since Edwards came to this team, it was Jack McCloskey's best move. They got him for a draft pick, and Ron Moore from the Phoenix Suns. They would not have won a championship without his offense down low.
Worthy missed. Detroit comes back. Vinnie Johnson. To Rodman, guarded by Green. Dennis takes him to the hole and puts it in.
One thing you can count on with Dennis Rodman is he won't miss much. They don't go to him in the offense. I'm quite surprised they would post him up right now, but he's a very high field goal percentage shooter in and around that basket, and he converts everything.
One of the great defensive players, not only at present, but many say in the game's history. He got a hand on that and broke up the Laker pass.
Well, he's always in the game. He just scored at one end. He comes down the court. He knows he's going to have to get up here with Worthy. He's aware of his man, and he's aware of the ball. He's able to get the hand in there and deflect the pass.
Timeout with 2:57 to go in the first.
Steve Jones here at the Palace with John Sally, a missing link and certainly an important guy. But through your eyes, John Sally, what does this team need to do through this difficult stretch?
I just think we need to step up on our defense, get some more layups, some easy baskets, and just go back to being more aggressive. When we are aggressive, when we go after people, playing like the underdog as opposed to being the champions. We play a little better.
All right, the injury. What is your condition? When do you expect to return?
Well, they put me in injury reserve, so I have to stay out 5 games. But right now, it's just a strained muscle, but it's almost healed. I think another 2 or 3 days, and I'll be okay.
All right, he's ready. Back to you, Bob. Pat.
Steve, of course, on the wrong side to get the necessary perspective, but perhaps he could have asked him about the style of earring the Spider is sporting in the left lobe.
I don't know how many rebounds it gets them, but I do know John Sally is missed right now. He's their leading shot blocker, and it's one of the guys that definitely the Pistons depend on with their defense.
Michael Thompson is in off Dunleavy's bench.
Oh, come on.
Here's the jumper by Worthy that goes down. An obvious move here to get Thompson in, try and change things up defensively against the red-hot James Edwards, who was abusing Divac.
Well, he'll muscle him. He's a little bit smarter. He has more experience on guys like this. You'll see him using his hands. He'll use his body. He'll make him a passer, and he just has an awareness of James, probably more so than Vlade, and that's obvious.
Worthy gathers in Dumar's miss. Here's Magic, who has 7 assists already. Spins with the hook that won't go down. Rodman another rebound. Johnson picks up Lambier. Rodman forces it up, but was fouled as he was surrounded by a couple of Lakers.
Dennis Rodman, the kind of basketball player that will do anything for a coach. He just understands what it takes to win, and I'm sure that when they decide on the Olympic team, Bob, coming up a couple of years from now in '92 right here on NBC, that Chuck Daly, as the coach, would love to have him because he's the kind of guy that's going to have to play people like Tony Kukoc and players over in the European League that are great one-on-one players. So he's the kind of guy that can fit in on any team.
You know, a guy like Oscar Schmidt of Brazil gets hot. You put Rodman on him, put the clamps on him, and another important consideration. it's going to be hard enough in a 40-minute game and all those superstars to spread the minutes and the shots around. With Rodman, you don't have to worry about the ego in terms of shots.
He has the perfect demeanor. He's been a role player. He's come off the bench, and he can come off the bench in that capacity, in that state of mind, because he's used to it.
Pistons by 6 as we move inside. 2 minutes to play in the first quarter at the Palace. Eldon Campbell is in the game now. Michael Thompson's first shot is short. Rodman again coming up big on the boards. Magic on Lambier.
Again, Eldon Campbell coming in off the bench, not used very much. The rookie, probably with his size and shot blocking ability, to be able to match up with Dennis Rodman and keep him off the board. Eldon Campbell, like Byron Scott, right out of Morningside High School in Inglewood, California. Byron Scott, interesting question there. When he was about 8 or 9 years old, I remember him coming down and watching our shoot-arounds when we were practicing with Jerry West and Elgin Baylor and that group back in the early 70s. He's come a long way.
Chuck Daly finally gives James Edwards a rest. Mark Aguirre makes his first appearance. Dumars lets fly and misses. He's got his highest points per game average of his career, but playing more minutes and with the injured toe and the increased responsibilities in Isaiah's absence, he's got the lowest shooting percentage of his career. It's taken a toll. Magic goes cross court. Worthy almost lost it.
Medium post, not deep enough right now. Again, the pass to Michael Thompson, and that's the ability again of Magic Johnson. He's the kind of guy that just tries to make other players better. If you have your hands ready and you're aware, you're going to get layups.
Averaging 13.4 assists per game. We've got Magic at 8 assists in the first quarter. Vinnie Johnson rises up over him and hits. That's a hallmark of his game, the ability to shoot over taller defenders.
Well, he can do it right now. Right now, they're isolating the side. James Worthy in the low post here with the back to the basket. The Pistons love to face up an ISO with Dumars and Vinnie Johnson like you saw him against Magic. Break you down off the dribble, take it into the gut, look for the shot or the kick.
Worthy forces it, and his prayer is answered.
It's not a force, that's a shot. He's a shot maker in this league. He's always averaged around 50% from the field. This year he's right at 50, and he's a guy that can create and make shots.
Got to get one off. Dumars on the run in a crowd, and he was fouled as the horn sounded. Let's watch Worthy's shot. You decide whether this is actually part of his repertoire or just a case of getting a little lucky.
Well, he's got Mark Aguirre at arm's distance, and as soon as he stepped into the ball, he got him up in the air on a ball fake. Mark Aguirre passed him defensively, and James Worthy up and under with maybe some people would call a prayer, but a shot that he can make. He just stayed on the shot and followed through as Joe Dumars finishes off 2 free throws here.
Eldon Campbell fouled him as time expired, which might have made Dunleavy wince. Since Dumars was in an awkward position to get off a shot, he drills them both as the lone man on the court. Detroit by half a dozen after 1. Big dinner last night for Magic and some of his teammates. Out at his boyhood home, there's Irvin Sr. and Magic's mom, Christine.
And they will have a big dinner after the game because Mr. and Mrs. Johnson would always put together a lot of wonderful sweet potato pie, a lot of food for the guys. They bring it into the locker room and they have a feast. That's one of the things that she does when Magic comes into the town. Treats them like family, all the Lakers.
Magic told me he spoke with his coach, his college coach, Judd Heathcote, this week. Always stays in close touch with him. Judd often comes to the games when the Lakers play here at the Palace to see Magic.
Magic was well taught, well versed in just about every fundamental, and Judd deserves a lot of credit.
Dumars pass inside as we resume to Rodman, who has been a force at both ends of the floor in the early going.
Got to be able to catch those passes. Joe made a great pass. He couldn't put it on the money. Sometimes players have to realize you're not going to get the ball right on the money. You got to catch some bad ones.
Eldon Campbell misses the turnaround. Divac's inability to handle Edwards forced them to go to Thompson and then to Campbell. There's Campbell with the block, which they say is clean, although the fans wanted a goaltend. Magic brings it back. Aguirre trying to contend with him. Terry Teagle. And here comes Vinnie Johnson. Johnson spinning with the runner, and Teagle fouled him. When Divac couldn't handle Edwards, it had a domino effect on the substitution pattern that Dunleavy might have preferred. He got Thompson in a little earlier, then Campbell came off the bench earlier in the game than perhaps he ordinarily would.
Eldon Campbell is a player out of Clemson that is an incredible shot blocker. They like his versatility. He's the kind of guy that can come off the bench, and it's a big game today. But as Dumars goes to the basket, Campbell comes out of nowhere. Now, that was not a goaltending call because he batted it off the board, but it was a great block by a young player that's going to be a great one in this league one day, maybe. He needs a lot of work, but the Lakers have a lot of confidence that he can get it done in the future.
Pistons by 9. Here's the lob inside, and it's off the hands of Byron Scott, and back come the Pistons. Vinnie Johnson's pass deflected, and he comes back out of there with it.
It's a mismatch right over here. Aguirre wants the isolation on Michael Thompson. You just want to contain him, make him take the jumper.
Lambier the rebound to keep it alive.
Lakers really packing the defense in. They'll give you anything over the top. They'll contest the shot, play the ball pretty tough, but you'll watch all the Lakers on the weak side with a foot in the paint.
Johnson working on Magic. Vinny misses, and Campbell has the rebound.
There it is right there. Two-time, no rotation. Rotating the ball to Michael Thompson, a nice leaping leaner right now. The Pistons are not going to allow Magic Johnson to shoot it. Other players are going to have to step up and contribute offensively.
It's the Pistons by 7.
Aguirre again on the iso with the spin move going against Thompson. Chuck Daly last night, Bob, was talking about the need for Mark Aguirre to get back that starter's mentality, to get back what he had at Dallas when he was averaging 25 points a game. He's going to have to change a little bit and get out of the role of coming off the bench and give him some big-time offense.
Here's Teagle, whose shooting percentage has fallen off drastically from his days at Golden State. They don't run as many isolations for him, and the court isn't spread as much for him as it used to be when he played for Don Nelson. Michael Thompson lost it, pleaded for a foul, doesn't get it. Vinnie Johnson to the trailing Aguirre, and now Dumars with lots of daylight. It's a 2-on-1. Teagle with Scott. Terry Teagle. Rodman got a piece of it. No goaltend. Furious pace with Vinnie Johnson pounding it back.
That's why he's the best defensive player in the league. It wasn't the block. He has the ability to make the block. What was impressive was his defensive transition to get back to be able to make a play on that shot.
Magic lost it as he tried to go coast to coast, recovered it, and was fouled. Watch Rodman with what turns out to be a legal block, although it was close to a goaltend.
Well, right now he goes by Scott. He goes over the top of Lambier. He makes a great block on Teagle, who thought he had a layup, but again, it's the effort, it's the hustle, it's what Dennis Rodman is all about.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Nissan, built for the human race. By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. And by the Schick Slim Twin Plus with Aloe. It reaches every place on every sensitive face.
Lambier points and rebounds. Lots of memories in this building and against this team for Pat Riley. You were telling me one yesterday about Bill Lambier making a visit to your locker room after one of the championship series.
We had just won back-to-back titles, and we're spraying champagne all over the place at the Forum, and Bill Lambier walked in. I thought he was going to walk over and congratulate me. He walked to me and he shook my hand, and he said, you know, I didn't come in here to congratulate you. I came in here to see what this looks like, because next year we're going to be the ones who are going to be spraying champagne. And obviously he was a prophet, because they did win it next year.
It is said that outside Detroit, there's divided opinion about this man. Some merely dislike him while others despise him. What is the actual feeling around the league about Lambier?
I think the people who play against Bill night in and night out have great respect for his competitiveness. He is a winner. He knows what it takes to win. He's also an Iron Man. He will show up every single night to play. The only time he's ever missed any games in this league, Bob, is because he was either suspended for fighting or some other infraction. And Bill Laimbeer is the kind of guy that competes. But right now, I don't know how much he really wants to play. He was considering retirement last year. They talked him back into coming to three-peat, and sometimes he's not right there right now because maybe he feels like he wants to be somewhere else on the golf course.
His game has fallen off a bit, at least statistically. He'll be 34 in 3 months. Aguirre driving after the 2 made free throws by Magic Johnson, and he gets the 2 right back. Pistons 38, Lakers 29.
One of the things that Chuck again talked about was the inability to get easy shots. Today, the Pistons are getting more easy shots than they've had in a while. They have a better flow, more guys getting involved in the offense, not using the clock and getting the ball up on that rim.
Rodman just pulled down his 8th rebound to go with 9 points. He's had a fine first half. Edwards is back in. This time it's Thompson trying to defend him. John Long making his first appearance. And the drive for Rodman. He's in double figures. Dumars with a tremendous snap pass for the assist. Worthy going to work. He was fouled, though he didn't get the roll on the shot. It's the second foul on the worm, Dennis Rodman.
Well, Dennis Rodman does it at both ends of the court. He has to play James Worthy on one end of the court, but he's always available. One of the things that the defense does, the defense doesn't allow Rodman to get open a lot of the times, but when he does, he makes layups. Right here, he's muscling up on James Worthy. Questionable call. Worthy trying to go over the top, and all Rodman wants to do is make it difficult for James today. He doesn't want to give him any layups. He wants him to take the ball over the top of that defensive hand.
Worthy misses them both, and Edwards has the rebound. Dumars, John Long, Edwards, Rodman, and Aguirre for Chuck Daly. Dumars driving around. Teagle throws it up left-handed and misses, and another whistle on the play, and Chuck Daly can't believe that it's on the Pistons.
Right now, the Pistons definitely are the more aggressive team all the way around. They're cutting, they're quick, they're taking it to the basket. Joe Dumars, Vinnie Johnson driving on isolations. They have the Lakers back on their heels right now a little bit.
Wire eyeing Worthy, who shoots it over him, and James fires it down from about 22.
Right now, most of the offense coming from Worthy, coming from Magic. They're going to have to get Teagle involved a little more, try to get some more balance with their shots.
Worthy, who's averaging 22, has 12 already, and a Detroit turnover as Rodman didn't see the pass coming from Aguirre. Here comes Vinnie Johnson back into the game. I think it's going to be Dumars whom he'll replace, but we'll check to be sure when we come back. It's the Pistons by 9. Pat, let's take a look at that last drive by Dumars. Daly couldn't believe a foul was called on Joe.
Well, Mike Dunleavy put Eldon Campbell into the game, and one of the reasons he did that is because Eldon Campbell is a great shot blocker. Now, when Dumars went down the lane, he's used to seeing Thompson, he's used to seeing Vlade Divac, but he's not used to seeing Eldon Campbell, who has real long arms, so he had to put his arm out and try to shield Campbell away from causing that foul.
The Pistons needed a Joe Dumars reverse layup as time expired to beat Seattle here about a week ago by a basket. They lost at home to Indiana. They lost big on the road to the Hornets and to the Knicks. To give you an idea, and the cast on Isaiah's right hand is a large part of the reason, the biggest reason, to give you an idea of where they're playing right now. Not by their reputation, not by the 2 championships, but where they're at right now. They're 24-5 against sub-500 teams, but 13-13, just 500, against teams that have winning records. Magic Johnson, as we come back to the action, goes with the jump hook and puts it down over a helpless John Long.
Right now, with the kind of lead the Pistons have up, they were up 9. They're not coming on Irvin Johnson. They'll mix up. They will read. Sometimes they'll come quick on the double team. Other sometimes if Irvin doesn't have the kind of spot that they think is threatening, they'll let him go one-on-one.
John Long signed for the whole season just this past week. Dennis Rodman from the tip of his range misses, maybe beyond his range, and Teagle has the rebound. Magic with the stutter step all the way. Magic has to arc it high. Third try, AC Green in traffic. No foul, out of bounds to Los Angeles.
Well, right there, you're looking at the defense of the Pistons trying to come back. Lately, their defense has not been as aggressive as it has in the past. They're going after all the shots right now and loose balls.
Teagle, the quick release off the inbound, and he swishes it.
They gave up 122 points the other night down in Charlotte. The skill positions, Chapman and Newman and Kendall Gill were 23 out of 32 from the field, and Daly wasn't too happy about that perimeter defense.
Lakers with 6 unanswered points to creep back within 5. Chuck Daly's Pistons are just 1-6 against the teams generally thought to be the elite in the West: Portland, the Lakers, Utah, San Antonio, and Phoenix. Vinnie Johnson misses the bank attempt, and the Lakers will have a chance to cut it to 3 here. Teagle against Vinnie Johnson, backing him down for the turnaround from the baseline, and he's hit a pair in a row.
We were talking about this yesterday, the microwave Vinnie Johnson against Terry Teagle. Both of them similar. They like to put their bodies on people and go over the top. Terry Teagle, one of the better post players at the guard position. Sometimes teams have to double team him. Good matchup right now. 2 great offensive players, Johnson and Teagle, going against one another. I don't know what it says about their defense.
Dumar's back in after a short rest. John Long out. Lambeer checks back in, puts the cheek protector on.
There are guys in this league that can make shots. Sometimes you can't guard guys like Johnson and Teagle. They will get off a shot. They will get their shot off, the one they're comfortable with, like right here, a pass instead of a shot.
Edwards finds the touch upon re-entering the game. He's got 14.
Again, trying to go to Worthy all night long.
4.5 to play until halftime. Worthy from the head of the key, cuts it to 3. 42-39 Detroit.
James's field goal percentage is down. He has a career 55%. This year it's around 50. A lot of people attribute that to the fact that he is taking a lot more perimeter shots. He's making them today, but it's causing his percentage to drop.
Edwards absolutely unconscious here. 7 of 7 officially, as he was fouled on the only one he missed. 16 for Edwards, 14 for Worthy to lead the Lakers. An illegal defense is called on the Pistons.
Again, James Edwards down in the low post. The pick and flare. Michael Thompson helps out a little bit, but you got to get players that can get back to the guy who flares to the open spot. Edwards will bury the 17-footer all night long.
Dumar's alone with Magic. Now Lambeer comes over to help, and Worthy's open for the 3 that's no good. Trying to build on a 5-point lead. The Pistons bring it across. McGuire.
Pistons getting to the basket. You got to make a play on the ball. Magic went over the top of the ball and sort of faked at the foul, thinking that Aguirre might miss. When you're going to contest layups, you got to go to the body and tap them.
Whistle before the move to the basket. These are the 2 best defensive teams statistically in the NBA. Detroit is averaging a yield of 95 a game, and the Lakers 99. They're the only 2 teams averaging fewer than 100 points allowed per game.
But what's more impressive, points allowed, 99 a game and 94 a game, that's one thing. But what really is impressive about both teams, their field goal percentage. The Pistons about 45%, the Lakers 45%. They're the kind of teams that play defense. They make it difficult for you to shoot the basketball, and also their point differential is something that's impressive. That is what the defense is about.
Vinnie Johnson just picked up his first. We step away with 2:49 left.
Miller Genuine Draft presents #1 draft choices.
Today's Miller #1 draft pick is Mark Aguirre, first pick overall in the '81 draft by Dallas. He spent 7.5 seasons with the Mavericks, averaging 23 points before coming to Detroit in February of '89 in time to get in on a pair of NBA championships. They sent Adrian Dantley and a #1 pick to Detroit to get him. The #2 pick, by the way, overall in 1981. After Aguirre was taken by the Mavericks was his close friend and now teammate Isaiah Thomas. Let's take a look at the Pistons defensively in the tenure of Chuck Daly. He takes over a ragtag team back in the mid-'80s, and every single year the yield per game has gone down.
Well, the defense definitely has improved, but the offense also has dropped. Chuck Daly has emphasized defense and rebounding. They averaged 118 points 1 year offensively. That's down now to about 99 points a game. So a lot of it, the defense has to do with the tempo of the game and the kind of offense you're running. The Pistons very methodical with their offense, creating less shots for the opposition.
Here's Terry Teagle, who's hit a couple in a row. He feels it, but this one's off the back rim. James Edwards against Divac. A nightmare for Vlade to this point. Hit him with the body, no call. Magic Johnson comes out with the ball. Here goes Teagle. Contact, but they say it's clean, and Vinnie Johnson has it. Dumars dishes to Aguirre. Baseline popped. Vinnie Johnson keeps it alive for the Pistons. And now it's Teagle. Teagle filling the lane, coming down, misses the leaner, and it's tapped out to Dumars. Worthy cuts Aguirre off, and a foul on the play. Let's check the lineups for the Lakers. Divac with AC Green, James Worthy, Magic, and Terry Teagle. For the Pistons, Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, James Edwards, Mark Aguirre, and Bill Laimbeer.
The last two shots that Terry Teagle took, he pulled up for jumpers. You've got to take the ball to the basket and look to try to draw the three-point play. He saw some defense there, but he didn't take it strong and try to take it over the top. Instead, settling for the little pocket jumper in that lane. Both of them turned out to be misses.
Pistons by 9 as we approach a minute and a half to play until halftime. Worthy turns to face Aguirre. Drives on him. Whistle before the shot from Mike Mathis. Aguirre picks up the personal. Let's go back to Teagle.
Okay, right here, he should be taking this ball over the top of Laimbeer, trying to take it to the basket. I know Laimbeer stepped up and put both hands up, but taking the angle, trying to get Laimbeer on his hip so he has the possibility of a three-point play. Don't let the defense discourage you from taking the ball to the basket, even if you have to commit a charge every now and then.
Worthy finally hits a free throw after 3 misses. James will be 30 on Thursday. He's had knee trouble, aches and pains. In many ways, he's having his best year. But you got to wonder about the toll over time. Here's Edwards with a running one-hander that's off the front of the rim. And a rebounding foul in the scramble.
Again, the Lakers are trying to take Dumars off of that pick and roll. A lot of two-man basketball for Detroit. It's either Dumars or Vinnie Johnson. Right now, you're going to see Dumars double team quickly. Edwards flaring to the corner. Vlade recovers, but he does allow them to get the shot off. Mark Aguirre, a player that is a great offensive player in this game, brought here for Adrian Dantley. You can see in '87 he averaged 25 points a game. He's brought it all the way down to 14 last year. Right now he's going to have to step up, give them starters points because Isaiah is out and they're missing that offense.
Daly's been toying with the idea of starting him. He's got to find additional firepower somewhere. They're not getting any points off transition, and their inside offense has been very lacking in Isaiah's absence.
He will increase his minutes, Bob. He'll probably go to 30-plus minutes a game just to try to get that offense.
Magic hoists the three.
That's that spot-up game. Again, the double team on James. Magic spotting up behind the three-point line. He works on that shot every single day. Don't let him get in a streak. He could bury 3 or 4 in a row.
Pulls the Lakers within 7 in the final minute of the first half. Dumars lunges one up there, no good off the glass. Laimbeer with another try, and there it is.
That's what the pick and roll does. Dumars got forcing the big man up to try to block, opening up Lambier inside. AC Green did not block him out.
Magic with the hook. AC Green chases it down. 15 seconds to play in the quarter. Lakers trail by 9. The hook again. He's got it. Magic with the last 5 Laker points of the half. 2 seconds to get off a shot. Aguirre from beyond half court, and that's it. After 24 minutes, the Pistons 52, the Lakers 45, and James Edwards was absolutely sizzling, especially in the first quarter. He hit his first 7 shots from the floor, and there are his total 16 points and 3 rebounds at the half as the Pistons try to do something positive in the midst of a very difficult stretch of the season for them. Okay, we're joined now on the court at halftime by Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons. As you see, the cast on the injured right wrist. We heard some talk this week that it's possible, I don't know how optimistic this is, but possible you might return before the regular season ends. Is that possible?
Well, there's a doctor in Connecticut watching this by the name of Kirk Watson, and if he heard that, he'd be highly upset with me. The cast comes off at the end of March, and it just depends on how fast I can rehab. But right now, I'm not planning on playing until the season ends, until the doctor gives me the go-ahead to come out and play.
You do think, though, you can play in the playoffs?
I'm hoping. It really depends on what he says. Unlike a lot of injuries that I've had, this one's totally different. I had a bone graft and a bone fusion. And so, you know, when you're dealing with bones and stuff, that's out of my league. I'm pretty good with sprains and muscle pulls, but when you're talking about bone breaks, I'm relying a lot on what the doctors say.
You're well known for the high threshold of pain. You played against this guy's team on an ankle that would have had a lot of other people in a hospital bed a couple of years ago, but I guess this just got to the point where you couldn't handle it.
Well, he didn't give me much sympathy.
Never did, never will. But he still came back. I think on that sprained ankle, he had 25 in the third quarter. Isaiah, you did a little coaching last week. And I want you to tell the fans out here, last week when they were mired in a little bit of a slump, you came out, you talked to the guys in the locker room, gave them a little bit of a pep talk. They won against Atlanta. What'd you have to say to them?
Basically, I just said, you know, you got to feel good about yourselves. Just because you lose a couple of basketball games or you don't play well does not necessarily mean you're not a good basketball team. I think this team is capable of winning a lot of games without me playing. We're talented enough. Sure, we have to change a few things around, but you know, we're talented enough to win basketball games, and we're still a good basketball team. And you know, when you get down and you start losing and you don't play well, you can't all of a sudden say, hey, we're not a good team. Now, you may have not played well that day or two, but there's always tomorrow.
What is the Pistons, what are they going to have to do? They lost your quickness, they lost your offense, they lost your ability to break defenses down. If there was one thing or one player that has to step up to bring back what you gave them, who is that going to be?
I think it has to be a collective effort. You know, we're not going to be a great offensive basketball team. So if we stop teams from scoring, we definitely have a chance to win. I don't think we should be concentrating on trying to score a lot of points or focusing on scoring a lot of points. I think our bread and butter is on the defensive end. And if we win games 70 to 60, that's fine, long as we win.
Last question. Even if you do come back for the playoffs, with you being such an integral part of the attack, the guy who runs the show, it's going to take a while both for you to regain your game and the team to get comfortable again with you on the floor. So there's trouble ahead, right?
Well, when I come back, if I come back, my main goal is to fit in. I don't think I can come back and play and get to the level that I was once the season was going on. But if I come back, my main goal is to fit in and more or less be a role player as opposed to being a starter. I think you have to have a different mentality when you're coming off an injury like that.
And in 10 seconds, how tough is it for you to watch every day, but especially today with the Lakers and your buddy Magic out there?
Well, it's tough because I want to be out there, but the good thing about it is every time I want to participate, I look down at my arm, and it's a good reminder that I can't. So.
Yeah, and if he got out there, if it turns bad in the fourth quarter, he's going to come out and use that as a club. I can hear him right now. I can see it right now.
Magic would definitely hit me on it.
A dire prediction from Riley. We're back with the second half. Our thanks to Isaiah Thomas, and we return after this from your local station. Pistons by 7 as we prepare to start the third quarter. James Edwards, a huge story, hit his first 7 from the field. Each team shooting 49%. As Michael Thompson walked past Edwards on his way back onto the floor for the start of the second half, he walked past him and said, "Cool off, you're killing me."
Well, right now, James Edwards definitely is the story of the game offensively. Also the story of the game in the press. Wants a new contract. Right now, he and Jack McCloskey and his agent are going over whether or not the money is right. But a very valuable player, 35 years old, has a couple more years left in him. Almost unstoppable down in the low post.
In fairness to Michael Thompson, he pleaded jokingly with Edwards to cool off on him, but most of the damage was done in the first quarter against the defense of Vlade Divac. Pistons start the third quarter with the 7-point lead. Dumars fires a bomb, and it's off the back of the rim. And Divac has the flat-footed rebound. Magic Johnson, Byron Scott, A.C. Green, James Worthy, and Vlade Divac. Joe Dumars, Vinnie Johnson, Dennis Rodman, James Edwards, and Bill Lambier for Chuck Daly. Scott cut off, brings it up top to Johnson. Worthy had 15 in the first half. Goes to the left hand over Rodman, no good. Edwards the rebound, and Dumars says, "Let's hold on here." Dumars is hurt. He pointed to his neck. He might have twisted his neck, Charlie horse or something. It's not the toe, which has been hobbling him for the past few weeks.
Real class guy right here. Joe Dumars, a player who has to right now pick up what Isaiah Thomas has left behind because of his injury, playing more minutes, shooting more shots. Very versatile player. Looks as though right now he may be going out of the game. It's a guy that can take it, has a high tolerance for pain, and I'm sure he doesn't want to show the Lakers exactly what the problem is. Could be that toe. Never know, even though he looked at his neck or felt it.
Well, we'll find out soon enough. Gerald Henderson makes his reappearance for the Pistons. This is his first game of the year. They signed him to a 10-day contract with John Sally going on the injured list. Sally has to miss at least 5 games. Here's Henderson, the former Celtic, to Lambier, and off Rodman's hands on the turnover. Byron Scott has it. Magic ahead of the field to Worthy. He's got 17, and the Lakers are within 5.
A pass that could have been caught by Rodman. A.C. Green was beat to the basket, came from behind, deflected the ball. The Pistons cannot afford to turn the basketball over and give up layups to the Lakers.
Shot, baby, come on.
Gerald Henderson wastes no time, and he hits his first shot.
Right off the streets, right to the Pistons, right to the Palace, and a jumper against Magic in the corner.
Can you look at Gerald Henderson and not have a nightmare flashback of '84 and that steal when the Celtics somehow managed to steal the whole series from the Lakers?
I think Gerald probably thought that they were making the pass to me. I could see the seams of the ball coming. It was a nightmare. There's no doubt about that. Great little player.
All right, let's get an update on Joe Dumars' condition. Off we go to Snapper Jones.
All right, Bob and Pat, the condition with Joe Dumars, much like a sprinter. He felt some tightening in the hamstring. Both of them have tightened up on him right now, and they are trying to make sure that he's going to be okay, and maybe they'll get him back in the ball game. But it is hamstring, not big toe, not neck. Back to you.
Split the difference.
One of the things that is developing with the Pistons, the Lakers went to the finals 3 years in a row. They played 345 games to get there. One full season longer than anybody else. Right now, the Pistons are in the same mode. They've been to the finals 3 straight years. They have a chance to get there again. And sometimes players just break, and maybe that's what happens with Joe. His muscles are beginning to go.
Vinnie Johnson, lunger in the lane is good.
Vinny now will take over. Joe Dumars being out. Vinny will try to heat it up.
Pistons by 7 again. The foul was called before the shot as Magic spun around Gerald Henderson. How about this for a baptismal? He hasn't played in the league all year, and there's Dumars trying to work the kinks out. Hasn't played all year in the league. Obviously, he stayed in shape, but this is his return, and he's got to try and contend with Magic Johnson.
Well, Irvin Johnson recognizes that mismatch right now. They probably will come on Irvin Johnson quick because Henderson cannot handle him down there. Irvin will get his points during the course of the game in the flow. Right now, he'll take it hard at Gerald Henderson.
Pistons by 4, and Henderson dishes to Lambier. He spots up very quickly. That's a great asset for Lambier. He'll quickly get to the spot and release.
Quickest shooter in the NBA. He already has his feet set. He's got his arm cocked. He's the kind of player that can get the shot off quicker than most players.
Magic has 16 to go with 8 assists. 58-54 Pistons. Worthy takes Vinnie Johnson on a switch. Magic on Lambier, as he has been from time to time. Spins out. Rodman fouled Divac, trying to take it back.
Irvin Johnson in the low post has been a player that has been dominant most of the season here. Gerald Henderson, size-wise, cannot handle him. Right there, he tries to body him. Irvin with the spin, drop, step, gets the layup here on the steal. Really overextends the defense, doesn't allow the defense to get there quick enough. The Lakers are going to see more double teams because Henderson cannot handle him.
That was Rodman's 3rd foul. First man on either team to accumulate that many. Now it's Vinnie Johnson trying his hand on Magic. Worthy's open from 22, too long. Byron Scott, he's got it.
Irvin Johnson controls 49% of the Laker offense from an assist standpoint, from a point scored standpoint. He's the delivery man. He's in just about every play. If they were to lose Irvin Johnson over the course of any season, over the course of this season, it would be very difficult for them to find that kind of production. I think it's obvious.
Pass goes astray. And with 8:10 to play in the 3rd.
And you'll probably see Irvin play the entire second half today. Even though they play tomorrow night in Philadelphia, Mike thinks this is the game that they have to win.
Then they get a couple of days off and conclude the road trip in Denver on Thursday. Lakers can tie with a basket here. They trail by 7 at the half, by 11 at one point in the first half.
Back to the basket. ISO offense.
Running hook, good, and we're even at 58.
That's all you're going to see from the Lakers in the second half. Rodman's going to have to step up. Vinnie Johnson on Irvin's going to have to step up. They will create the offense from the inside out until you double them.
This is without Dumars on the floor. Aguirre to the scorer's table. Vinnie Johnson doesn't get the roll. Lambier does get the follow, and he's coming to the free throw line.
One of the problems with the mismatch, a lot of times the Lakers will match up Irvin Johnson or James Worthy on Bill Lambier because he does stay out on the perimeter. However, Bill Lambier is one of the great rebounders in this league. He backs it in, he blocks out. Right now he gets possession of the ball, and he's able to finish to get an opportunity for a three-point play right here. You got to root him out. You got to get your legs down into his knees and don't give him that position.
Aguirre in, Henderson out. He can't complete the three-point play. Lambier with 8 points and 9 rebounds. You saw he'd never missed a game due to injury in 11 seasons. He's missed 5 because of suspensions. Divac hammered, and there's the whistle. Edwards picks up his 3rd.
That time Vlade Divac open coming down the lane. Lambier went to double off of Divac, and the Lakers from the weak side use these gaps. They are design routes to take when Irvin is in the post, and also James Worthy. One player cannot guard 2 players. Vlade Divac wide open, draws the foul.
Averaging 11.5. Divac stuck on 2 points in this game, and he misses them both. Here's Edwards looking to go to work on Divac. The double team comes over, so he slings it back out to Aguirre. Here's Rodman on the run. Tried to dump it off to Edwards, but it's a turnover, and here comes Magic. His pass deflected out of bounds, and the Lakers keep it.
This is what Chuck Daly was talking about. Sometimes the Piston offense gets bogged down and they have to grind out the shots. Right there, Rodman trying to get the ball to Lambier, and Irvin deflects.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Acura Automobiles. Experience precision-crafted performance. By Nike, who reminds you to just do it. And by 3M, worldwide sponsor of the 1992 Olympic Games.
Irvin Johnson is going to be a big part of this game in the second half. You'll see him dribble out the offense. He will post up in this area. Now you'll also watch Bill Lambier. He'll come from the weak side to double team down here. Vlade Divac on the weak side makes a great cut. He will make a great cut into the lane. One of the great parts of this offense is that Irvin Johnson can dictate. You will see right here Bill Lambier coming. Vlade Divac over the top. He gets into that gap. Right here, Lambier cannot get back. And it's one of those things the Lakers do all year long. And he draws the foul off of that particular play.
As we come back, AC Green triggers it inbounds to Magic. 6:40 to play, third quarter. Pistons by a basket. Here's Worthy. Rodman overran the rebound, but Edwards is there to take it. Byron Scott on Vinnie Johnson. Aguirre. Aguirre breaks into double figures with 10.
James Worthy over the top of that pick. Normally the Lakers like to trail on baseline picks. Worthy tried to get over the top. Aguirre popped to the corner, got the wide open jumper.
Worthy screens for Magic. Here's a three. Edwards the rebound. Lambier trailing his three-pointer. There it is.
Now the other night down in Charlotte, he took one of those when the Pistons were down 3 with about a minute to go. It wasn't a good shot. This was a good shot in the flow of the game.
Magic over Rodman. Misses the hook. Lambier is there. Suddenly they're up 7. And a chance to make it more. Edwards against Divac. Blocked it this time. A reversal from the first half. Now they'll set it up with Worthy.
Very predictable offense, Bob, right now. The Pistons have to deal with whether or not they're going to come or they're going to play him straight up. That time they played him straight up, but AC got the spot up in the corner.
Exactly 5 minutes in the quarter and a 5-point Piston lead. Worthy on Aguirre. Divac over on a double team, and he hits it anyway.
Getting into the rhythm right now. Both teams playing a very basic game. Posting up Magic or Worthy. At the other end, it's two-man basketball. Vinnie Johnson running the point, but Mark Aguirre and Edwards working that game extremely well. They're playing their kinds of games.
Worthy comes off the screen and misses the open jumper. Pistons by 7. Edwards alone. Make it 9 plus a foul.
Vlade Divac trying to help out. Drop into the level of the ball. Again, leaving James Edwards open for the 15-footer. Edwards has been burying this shot all game long. Again, you can't see Vlade Divac because he's out of the play. Behind the back pass, that's a 70% shot for him right there. Pistons up by 9.
Among those in attendance, ZZ Top at the Palace of Auburn Hills. They played a concert here last night.
You went and saw it, got carried away, didn't you?
Well, you know, man,
what a transformation.
Man is affected by a major entertainment event like that. You obviously declining my offer to don the...
I need this, Bob, on my head, not around my chin. Plus, my son, James Patrick, right now would be looking at this, and he said, Dad, whatever happened to you? I can't believe that.
seems to me that they dedicated one of their songs to you. Didn't they have a hit with a tune called Sharp Dressed Man?
Yeah, at least that much so. But I think probably right now the Lakers are going to need this more than you or I. A little disguise for the Detroit Pistons. Mark Aguirre, unbeknownst to us, as Chuck Daly slotted him in at the off guard. Vinnie Johnson right now playing solely the point guard. Mark Aguirre at 6'7", using his offense and his size at the off guard position.
Edwards with the three-point play, ups it to 9. Scott has daylight and puts it down for the Lakers.
Pet play of the Lakers out of timeouts. Used to be called the one down. I don't know what it's called now, but two-man game into a back pick for Byron and his pocket jumper in the corner.
Aguirre spins around Worthy, goes to the left hand and misses. Rodman the follow. Terrific game for Rodman. "13 points, 10 rebounds for Rodman. And he's played both Worthy and Magic at the defensive end. Shot clock down to 5. Lakers keep it. Here are Magic's numbers to this point: 16 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds.
Critical matchup right now. I think the Pistons with Aguirre, as James has to get off the shot.
You know what? I think I'm convinced. There's another lunger off balance. Nothing but twine.
He can make it. He made one in the first half that we thought was lucky, but that's his shot. He's got great rhythm.
Michael Thompson on Edwards. Double team to Scott comes over. That leaves Vinnie Johnson alone, but he didn't take it. Lambier for 3. Aguirre hustling on the boards after Rodman kept it alive.
Again, there's that size at 6'7" in the back court. That matchup that Chuck is forced to go to because Dumars is out will play to their advantage on the offensive glass.
Scott thought he had stripped Vinnie Johnson, but instead the foul is called on him, his second.
Right now, Vinnie Johnson, the kind of basketball player that's being very aggressive offensively. Byron Scott sliding his feet, trying to get his body in front of Johnson so he doesn't turn the corner, reaches in, gets a piece of the ball, but obviously a little bit of the hand too.
How do you account for this? Vinnie Johnson, who's missed 2 of 3 from the line today, a career 75% free throw shooter, hitting just 59% at the line this year, and he misses them both. He's going to get another chance as there's a whistle off the rebound battle, and this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the National Basketball Association. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the NBA. Joe Dumars went out early in this third quarter, complaining of a sore hamstring. I guess there was a lane violation, no foul, lane violation, and he got the second try and hit it.
Vinnie Johnson, definitely a player struggling at the line, but he's a big game player. He's a clutch shooter. He's a guy that takes it in the end of the game and wants to take it to the basket. Obviously, the free throw problems have been going throughout his career and could hurt the Pistons today if he can't convert. James Worthy right now working on Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre doesn't play the same kind of defense that Dennis Rodman does. He tries to use his body a lot more physical, a lot more aggressive. And the officials right now may be calling this game down the low post a lot closer, making sure it doesn't get out of hand.
James has 21, but he's just 1 of 5 from the line.
State of mind.
You could tell that was short from the moment it left his hand.
You lose your rhythm. You got to go through the same routine.
Dumars is at the scores table. He's going to check back in. Vinnie Johnson lost it on the dribble. Magic to the floor to keep it in play for the Lakers.
Got to pick up the ball.
The 3. Magic has it.
Vinnie Johnson got knocked down in the backcourt. Could not get back up to pick up Irvin Johnson, but the ball has to be stopped. Everybody else was looking to match up with their man instead of picking up the ball.
Piston lead is 5. Magic has 19. Vinnie Johnson with a nearly impossible shot, and he hits it with the left hand. Magic right around Rodman. 21 for Magic.
Going to turn up the heat right now. It's getting to that time of the game where Irvin will take over, will take the initiative offensively, driving by one of the best defensive players in the league. Good move.
Pistons by 5. It's knocked away and Magic's got it. There was some contact there, but they let it go. Here's AC Green. And he's coming to the line to shoot 2. At the other end, the Lakers very aggressive defensively, and some of the Pistons thought there were some slaps there that could have been called fouls with contact on the arm. Watch.
Well, the last 2 times down the court, their defense has become a lot more aggressive. Irvin on the floor to pick it up. But right here, you'll see, again, James Worthy over the top. Bill Laimbeer with a careless pass into the post. But definitely the Laker defense right now getting more aggressive, trying to get their hands on balls to deflect them. AC Green at the line right now, shooting 2.
Laimbeer got the foul, his 3rd. Dumars comes back in.
Substitution pattern right now. James Worthy will take his rest the next minute and 12. And if Irvin Johnson does come out of this game, Worthy will come in and try to take him out, give him a rest. But I don't think you're going to see Irvin out of this game today.
Eldon Campbell, a rookie from Clemson, their #1 draft choice, last man picked in the 1st round, is in the ball game now with Worthy getting a short rest. Edwards, the fadeaway.
Let go!
AC Green lets it go. Laker ball. They trail by 4. Less than a minute to play. Thompson screening for Magic. Edwards takes him on a switch, and Mike Mathis stops play.
Getting pretty aggressive on the pick and roll. The Pistons want to push, go under, or they're switching right now. Sending Magic Johnson to the line for 2 shots in the penalty. Right here, you'll see an aggressive screen by Thompson. The foul is called on Dennis Rodman, and Thompson will go to the line. Obviously, Magic was begging to get in there because he thought Edwards might have fouled him, but Thompson was fouled by Rodman.
Neither team shooting especially well from the line.
Little love tap. Meeting them in the park. Edwards and Irvin.
Dumars now with the tender hamstring to go along with the badly injured big toe. He's played through the pain of the latter injury. Here's Aguirre on the run, bothered from behind. Last 20 seconds. They can cut it to 1 with the last 12 minutes of the game looming. Magic wants to do it with the hook. 2 seconds to play in the quarter. Aguirre can't get it off. After 3 at the Palace in Auburn Hills. Magic and the Lakers have crept back to within 1 at 74-73, and we're back after these messages and a word from your local station.
Well, here's Bob Costas. It isn't enough that we shoot back in the studio. We come to Detroit, and he gets to practice here at the Palace. He rips in 2 in a row. I'm proud of him.
Wait a minute. Those are the 2 you showed.
That's right.
That was part of a run of 5 in a row.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Probably if the Lakers could use you right now, they'd put you in for Irvin Johnson. He's actually going to get his first rest of the game. Tony Smith is in at the top of the period. Magic right now, 37 minutes for 1991. His career, 36-9. That's a career high. James Worthy at 38 minutes a game in 1991 versus a career of 30. Playing a lot of time this year.
Here's their second-round pick out of Marquette, Tony Smith, making an appearance here as we start the fourth quarter. And Terry Teagle travels with Vinnie Johnson coming up on him defensively.
The fact that the Lakers closed at the 74-73, cut it to 1 at the end of the quarter, gave Mike the feeling that he could probably give Irvin a couple of minutes. This team is going to have to hold the fort 3 or 4 minutes, not get 7 or 8 points down.
Pistons by 1. Aguirre makes it 3.
Eldon Campbell right now on Mark Aguirre. The reason why Campbell, a center, is playing Aguirre at 6'7" is because he has a long arm, a long reach, and he could bother the jumper. That time he did not. Again, the matchup philosophy of Mike Dunleavy.
Smith contributes.
Tony Smith a couple of weeks ago on NBC against the Chicago Bulls when Magic went down in the fourth quarter, came in, held Jordan in check, scored 2 or 3 buckets himself. He is growing as a player every day.
This is a 3, but it isn't there for Mark Aguirre. So now the Lakers can grab the lead again. As you see, they last led midway through the first quarter. Teagle is short. Smith trying to keep it alive, out battles Aguirre for it. Michael Thompson with room. LA has the lead.
Second unit right now doing the job. Second shot's Michael Thompson. Tony Smith buries the jump shot. Pistons got to regroup.
Vinnie Johnson from behind a screen, missing, and a whistle before Johnson's follow.
Everything right now is perimeter. Joe Dumars is on the point, has not looked to go to the basket, could be bothered by that hamstring. Mark Aguirre at 6'7", playing the small forward spot on the second shot right here. Tries to root AC Green out or Eldon Campbell out, gets called for the push.
Which is Aguirre's 4th. William Bedford has made his first appearance. 7'1" guy out of Memphis State who wears double zeros. Worthy with the scoop. Goaltending call. Count the basket for Worthy.
Great effort by William Bedford. However, I think the shot may have been short. Worthy breaking his man down on the wing, taking the ball baseline. Aguirre doesn't contain him. Here comes 2 defenders to block the shot. Could be questionable whether or not they should even have tried.
Lakers' biggest lead, a slender 3 points. They've been down by as many as 11. Dumars trying to grit it out here in the fourth quarter. Bedford. He was fouled.
Again, going back to that shot by James Worthy, the ball definitely has reached its peak. Good call right here. The Pistons right now down by 3, 79-76.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Today's Chevrolet, who invite you to see why more people are winning with the heartbeat of America. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Miller Lite. When it's Miller Lite, less filling really tastes great.
A look at the upcoming stretch for the Lakers and the team they're pursuing, Portland. Out of this group of 8, only Philadelphia, Houston, and Milwaukee have winning records among the next 8 opponents for the Lakers. Look at this stretch for Portland, even conceding the fact that San Antonio has fallen off with the injuries to Cummings and Strickland. This is a killer stretch.
Well, they're going to play 8 games, Bob. The Portland Trail Blazers in the next couple of weeks against all plus 500 teams in this league. The Lakers feel if they can win today and win tomorrow at Philadelphia, they may be able to crack the Portland Trail Blazers coming to the best record. They're 4.5 out right now, but they'll have an exceptional opportunity if they could win today.
Portland hosts San Antonio tonight. The Lakers are 4 back in the loss column. They have beaten the Trailblazers 2 out of 3 head-to-head this year, and they still have 2 games left against Rick Adelman's team.
Still going to be a great finish out west. Not only Portland, but Cotton Fitzsimmons with the Phoenix Suns. Right now, Jerry Sloan is doing a great job with the Utah Jazz. And once Cummings and Strickland get back, the Spurs are going to be right back on top.
Laker lead is 1. 9:20 remaining in the ball game at the Palace. Worthy wants it against Aguirre. When they double team, he goes to Teagle for the jump. Rodman skies to clear the boards. 14 rebounds for Rodman. He's chipped in with 13 points as well.
Game really slowing down right now. More methodical, less running. Got to make shots. Right here, Aguirre again on Campbell.
Vinnie Johnson behind Bedford's screen misses. Look at Rodman. He was fouled. He has been a terror in this game.
Dennis Rodman, one of the most valuable players in the league. You watch the rebound right here. Great extension. Cups the basketball, gets it out on the break, and right here, Vinnie Johnson misses a tough one. Rodman inside, James Worthy has him on the hook, doesn't allow him to get the ball back up to the basket. Almost impossible to block out. The guy is constantly moving. He knows his role. He does it well, and that's why he's the best at what he does.
So Worthy picks up his second foul. Kind of a high-scoring first period, but since then it's settled down. Looks like both teams will finish under 100, barring overtime. Aguirre, pounded by Campbell.
You cannot shoot over the top of Eldon Campbell all the time. Mark Aguirre is going to have to use his experience and his smarts. Right here, he backs up, he takes the bump, steps back, pump fakes, jumps right into him. Eldon Campbell draws the foul. He's going to get 2 shots. Right here, Aguirre's got to do some technique. Got to take the kid to school a little bit.
Aguirre right at his average.
Mark Aguirre coming off the bench the last couple of weeks. As you see, Portland and Boston next Sunday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So we open at Boston Garden, then we go out to the Forum. Houston and the Lakers, the second half of the doubleheader on NBC. It begins with showtime at 12:30 Eastern.
And that's going to be Akeem Olajuwon coming back after missing several weeks, or 8 weeks, with a fractured cheekbone.
Here's the drive by Tony Smith. He's fouled by Dumars.
The anticipation right here with Tony Smith playing pick-and-roll basketball with James Worthy. Joe Dumars tried to think about getting over the top. Tony Smith crossed over, went baseline, had the wide-open gut, ended up drawing the foul inside. Watch Dumars adjust right here. Takes the ball to the basket. Tony Smith, Dumars reaches in on the strip, won't give him the layup. Going to make him make 2, doesn't.
All right, tied at 80. Magic's been out almost 4 minutes. When do you bring him back?
Now.
He's still seated.
Tony's done a great job. The bench has done a great job.
Vinnie Johnson saves the backcourt violation, but they've got only 3 seconds to get off a shot. Aguirre for a 3 that's short, and Rodman clears it back out, so they aren't hurt by it.
Take it to the basket, draw the foul. Don't settle for the jumper.
Intercepted by Worthy, who tries to bat it ahead, and here's Teagle. Bedford cut him off. Worthy the trailer, and he gets the roll.
Game's heating up right now. Again, it looks as though the Pistons really struggling with their offense, not getting anything down inside. Laker defense picking up. The skirmishes are beginning to develop.
William Bedford on Michael Thompson. Hits it.
Both teams, great performances coming off the bench. Tony Smith, Eldon Campbell, William Bedford. Guys doing a great job stepping up.
Tied again at 82. Still no Magic for the Lakers. 7 minutes to play in the game. Teagle makes a nice move, and the Lakers reclaim the lead.
Back to the basket. Terry Teagle, Sam Perkins, even though he's injured. James Worthy, Magic Johnson. Great post-up team.
Dumars, severely injured toe. Throw in the strained hamstring today. You see that that's bandaged. Bedford takes a bad shot. Teagle's got the rebound. Lakers try to increase the advantage. Smith lost it. Rodman has the steal as Tony Smith had it bounce off his leg.
Got to gather themselves right now. They're not getting good shots. Again, one of the things that Chuck Daly has been concerned about the 4-shot in critical situations.
This is what the Lakers have waiting for them, win or lose. Magic's mom whipping up a little feast.
Have to keep you out of that locker room, Bob.
Not a chance. I'm barging in. Now it's time to take a look at the Miller Player of the Decade.
Irvin Johnson, you've put a lot of magic into the NBA, and media from across the country have recognized that fact by voting you the Miller Genuine Draft Player of the Decade. In recognition of that honor, Miller Brewing Company is very proud to present this check for $50,000 in your name to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund in support of historically black public colleges. Congratulations from all your friends and fans at Miller Brewing Company.
Thank you. I'd like to thank all the people at Miller. I just hope that with this money, a young man or a woman will be able to reach his goals or dreams. Thank you.
The Player of the Decade checks back in, and we check in with Steve Snapper Jones. Snap.
All right, Bob, the concern down here by Chuck Daly is offense. He gave Mark McGuire several chances to get involved, couldn't get him going. Bedford, he's now made substitutions. Lambier is back in the ball game along with James Edwards, and what they want to do is get aggressive at both ends of the floor. They want to try to get something going to the hoop as well as stop the Lakers.
Down by 2, and Edwards is literally hopping mad about a foul call at the offensive end.
Well, right now, Chuck Daly coming back in with his best players. You got James Edwards down in the low post trying to get position. Michael Thompson takes it away, roots him out. Both players aggressive. Obviously, he calls the foul. I don't see how he could see that foul, the one coming over the top, the elbow.
The 5th on the scowling James Edwards. That doesn't count. Another whistle. And it's Terry Teagle.
Is that the proverbial makeup call in a crunch situation? Right now, Chuck Daly, he's got to get offense out of Dumars. He's got to get offense out of Edwards. You're going to watch the Lakers going strictly with Magic and with Worthy going down the stretch.
Pistons controlling the boards, but since the first quarter they haven't shot that well. And it continues. But here's Rodman again. He ties the game.
Eldon Campbell was put on Dennis Rodman to block him out. His size, you have to block Dennis Rodman out 15 feet away from the basket. You can't let him take you under that rim.
5.5 to play. Magic fresh for the stretch run. Hits the hook.
Junior skyhook. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the greatest weapon in the history of the NBA, that skyhook. Irvin Johnson throws up the hook right now better than anybody else in the NBA. He's only a guard.
Magic with 25. Edwards belted by Eldon Campbell. He got around Michael Thompson. Campbell arrived to help, and he sends Edwards to the line for 2.
Again, Irvin Johnson, we talk so much about his greatness in the post, the ability to do a lot of things. Right here, the extension, the hook. Joe Dumars really has no chance to stop that shot. Irvin is the only one that can stop it if he doesn't make it. They're going to have to decide whether or not they're going to allow Worthy and Magic to go one-on-one, or if they're going to break the defense and double team, force somebody else to shoot it from the perimeter.
It was the 3rd foul on Campbell, 1 of 2 for Edwards. 5:05 left. Lakers by 1. Worthy can't increase the lead, and Dumars is there for the flat-footed rebound.
Now that's what you have to do. James Worthy trying to post up Dumars, forced him 15 feet out of the lane. Tough turnaround jumper. The Pistons can live with that.
Dumars through the lane, tough shot. Lambier keeps it alive, but it's Worthy out of there with the loose ball. 4.5 to play. Lakers 86, Pistons 85.
Worthy Johnson, pick and roll. Mismatch switch.
Back up top to Scott. Magic 3 seconds on the shot clock. Makes no difference to him. Smooth and easy.
Simply great patience right there. Piston defense very good, very active in taking away what the Lakers wanted. Again, the Lakers with the ball movement, Thompson and Eldon Campbell getting it to the guy that can put it in the last second.
Edwards and Thompson jostling, and this time the guilty party is Michael Thompson, his 3rd. No Laker has as many as 4 fouls. Edwards has 5 and Aguirre 4 for the Pistons.
Again, the cross pick right here. Vinnie Johnson trying to put a body on Thompson. Thompson just using his body, trying to keep Edwards away from that low spot. Edwards right now going to shoot 2 free throws. Beneficial at this time of the game from that contact from Michael.
Eldon Campbell out, AC Green back in.
But the Lakers are getting in, Bob, on the weak side. They will have another shooter. Eldon Campbell has gone out of the game. Michael Thompson is spotting up on the weak side. The Pistons will let him do that, but they get AC in to look for the jumper.
Aguirre back in for Dumars. Pistons down by 1 again. Dumars, who played 48 minutes and scored 35 points Friday in a loss at Charlotte, injured his hamstring early in the third quarter here to go along with the injured toe, and he's really suffered. He shot just 3 of 13 in this game. Edwards on Magic. Scott for 3 with a hand in his face. Out of bounds to Detroit. Climbed up over the backboard.
Really has to be something wrong with Joe Dumars. Unless Chuck is just giving him a momentary breather, he would be out on that court right now. Vinnie Johnson, Mark Aguirre back at the off-guard position.
You're looking at a team that once had, without dispute, the best 3-guard rotation in the NBA, and now they're down to this, which is no disrespect intended toward either Johnson or Aguirre, but it's just not the right combination at this stage of the game.
Well, it really takes away from the continuity. We talked about this a couple of times last week. Isaiah used to run the point. Dumars would shoot the ball and then play defense. The whole thing turns around now with Joe having to do too much. Again, too much contact by Michael. He is not reading the official. Too much bumping and grinding. Right here, James Edwards. He's getting too many free ones. Make Edwards make a tough shot.
That ties it with 3:12 left. Michael Thompson picked up his 4th foul, the most of any Laker. It stays tied. Let's go to Steve Jones.
All right, Bob and Pat, as we crawl inside the mind of Chuck Daly, the guy they want to stop is Magic Johnson. That's why they inserted Aguirre in the ballgame, so they could put Rodman on Magic Johnson, and they would not have the matchup problem on the switch. Back inside and back to you.
And as Magic makes his move, the foul is on Rodman. He's the guy who hit the floor, but they stick him with the foul.
It's going to be very competitive right now. There's no doubt. The best defensive player in the league against one of the best guard post players in this league. A lot of contact right here. Does he move his feet? Well, Rodman in the past has been accused of being a flopper. Right here, he does look like he has position. It looks like it could go either way, but the call goes to the Lakers.
Yep. It comes down to the last 2:52, dead even at 88. Each team has 3 timeouts remaining. The Lakers have a 20 in addition. Okay, Pat Riley, what's the mental inventory that a coach goes through at a moment like this?
Well, right now, you have to be as basic as possible. There's a lot of things going through the players' minds. You don't want to confuse them with too many things. What you want to do is take the ball to the money players. And most of the time in these situations, the other players will become stars because double teams will occur. And all of a sudden, guys like Michael Thompson, AC Green, or Byron Scott are getting the wide open jumpers.
Okay, if you're Chuck Daly, you don't have Isaiah. Dumars isn't on the floor right now. He shot 3 for 13. He's obviously not himself. Who is the go-to guy?
Well, you got to go to Mark Aguirre or James Edwards. I mean, they have to step up and deliver. They're accomplished offensive players, and Vinnie Johnson will probably play some pick and roll at the high post with Edwards or Lambier.
Lakers trying to snap the tie. And a rarity, Magic loses the dribble to Rodman.
First round. He won the first round of that matchup right there. It's been a good move by Chuck thus far.
Edwards looking to post up. 4 seconds to shoot. Lambier way off. Edwards saves it in the corner. They set it up again with 2:12 left. Edwards screening high for Vinnie Johnson. Pull up. Out of bounds to Detroit.
Right now, it's all Dennis Rodman and the Detroit defense. Magic actually mishandles the basketball. It's not a strip.
Inside 2 minutes, tied at 88. He traveled.
Over-posting the ball. They really want to go down inside to James Edwards, but both Mark Aguirre and Vinnie Johnson had the opportunity to shoot the ball. The ball is above their head, and if you can't get it to them in one count, you should try to go somewhere else with it. A little too much pressure right now trying to force the ball down inside. If it's not there, move to something else.
Rodman on Magic. Aguirre on Worthy. A minute and a half to play. Worthy gives the Lakers the lead. 27 for Worthy, same figure as Magic.
And this is where they miss John Sally. Sally right now would be matched up on Worthy and Rodman on Magic.
Johnson on Lambeer. And Worthy and Dunleavy can't believe this one.
Well, both teams are very aggressive with their post defense right now. They're trying to fight for the spot, but somewhere right in front of the official, you've got to contain your poise a little better. Right now, there's a lot of action. James Worthy with his hands straight up. It's not the kind of call right here that he made. That wasn't the foul. I think he was calling the foul prior to that, where there was a little more contact.
Aguirre can tie it. He's halfway there. The third foul on Worthy. It pushed the Lakers over the limit. The Pistons have just 3 team fouls at this point.
They'll go back down at the other end again. James Worthy will be facing up on Mark Aguirre. The Lakers are going to have to make it. I mean, the Pistons will have to make a decision on whether they break their defense and double. See, there's too much contact right here. Both players are really fighting for the position. Probably the official saw Worthy on the other contact and makes the call a little bit late.
If anything, Aguirre's secondary contact was more aggressive. We're tied again. Even at 90. 108 left. A look at some of the strategic options for Dunleavy and for Daly. The timeouts remaining. The Pistons have 1 foul to give. The Lakers are over the limit, and Steve Jones is behind the Los Angeles bench. Snapper?
All right, there's 21,000 here. They're calling for defense, and the guys that they're going to have to stop, Worthy and Magic Johnson, those are the guys that are going to handle the ball in this possession.
Whatever mismatch is created, if there is a 2-man game, isolation with James and Irvin, and a switch is created, they will clear the side. Again, the pressure right now on the Pistons. As Chuck says, the Pistons need a stop right now.
Dumars comes back in. Rodman picks up Magic. Dumars is on Worthy. Hold it, says Mike Mathis. And Isaiah Thomas, as excited as anybody, jumping up and down, exulting on the Piston bench as the call is on the Lakers.
They got an illegal offensive call, I think, right here. 3 players on the weak side were above the top of the key. It's an illegal offense. Big mistake right now. AC Green had to be down in the corner. I think that's the call.
Boy, what a call at this juncture by Mike Mathis.
And
inside a minute.
To even make that call is a big call.
AC Green on Dumars. Edwards started hot, has cooled off. Dumars can't give them the lead. Dumars now 3 of 14. Badly battered for the last month or more. Game clock overlaps the shot clock by plenty, so the Pistons will have another chance.
You got to go on him.
Worthy on Dumars. He got a piece of it and fouled it.
Tough call at that time. 2 seconds on the shot clock right here. Joe Dumars had him in a situation out wide and high. Probably should have let him take the shot from about 17 feet.
But remember, they have the foul to give, so that's not putting him on the line, and now they're just going to have a couple of seconds after the timeout to try and inbound and get off a shot.
Right now, it's a great situation for the Pistons.
Now, the Pistons did have a foul to give, but because of the foul, the shot clock is reset, and in this sense, it's irrelevant because there's only 16 seconds left in the game. So the shot clock is turned off, and the Lakers have all the time remaining to work with. It was at 2 seconds at the time of the foul, but because of the foul, it would be reset to the full 24, in this case turned off.
Before Dumars made the foul with 2 seconds to go on the shot clock. He probably should have allowed Worthy to shoot the ball under pressure from that distance. Coming back right now, the Lakers will take it right down to the last shot, and the Pistons probably will not get another shot at this game unless one is made and there's time to call a timeout. Sometimes you can take a foul too quick or too late in the shot clock, and you will lose that opportunity for a last shot.
Dumars, Rodman, Aguirre, Tree Rollins for the first time, and Lambier. Tree Rollins for some defense to harass the inbound man, who's AC Green, with Worthy, Magic, Teagle, and Scott. And now a Detroit timeout. Here's what's coming up tonight on NBC. After your local news, a news special, America at War, with Tom Brokaw and Jane Pauley. Then Tom reports again from Saudi Arabia on Expose. And then it's the network television premiere of one of the big blockbuster hits of the past several years, Robin Williams, Robert Wall, and the rest in Good Morning Vietnam. Well, you could make a case for him as the NBA's best coach. Certainly no one's been more successful the last few years.
He deserves the respect. Chuck being around a long time. I call him a lifer. He and guys like Bill Burtka, they've been in this game 30, 35 years as coaches, and they're the kind of men that have worked hard. Chuck Daly right now winning back-to-back titles and done a great job, and he deserves everything that's coming his way, especially that Olympic coaching job.
Over to Steve Jones quickly. Steve?
Well, Bob, besides Pat and Mike dressing alike, they're thinking alike. It's a last shot situation, still involving 42 and 32. They looked at the defense down there. They're still going to try to isolate those guys in some form or manner against one of the taller players and get the opportunity, but they want to be the last team to pull the trigger. Can I get one of those coats?
Yes. What kind and where do you want me to send it, Steve?
Rodman, who has been a force on both ends of the floor today. He's had to play Magic. He's had to play Worthy. He didn't stop them, but he slowed them at least at various times. He's been all over the glass. He's got 17 rebounds. He's got 15 points.
Right now it's going to end up going with Joe Dumars. Dumars going to play Terry Teagle in this possession. James Worthy is being played by John Long. So they're matching up and going down here.
Tied at 90 with 16.2. Naturally, they put it in Magic's hands. Pistons would be over the limit on their next foul. Lakers already are. They want to make sure the Pistons don't get another opportunity. They'll release it as time expires. Worthy. Rebound Lambier. They call a timeout, but there are triple zeros on the clock, and we're going to overtime.
They did it right. James Worthy on John Long. Simply a great matchup for the Lakers and great patience and poise. Worthy has been in this situation a lot before. He was looking at the clock all the way. The ball in flight. Billy Lambier rebounds it. Timeout call a little bit too late. Overtime. Again, James Worthy, good stroke. A little bit off to the left. Right now, score 90-90 from the Palace. It's overtime.
Who, if anybody, has fresh legs? For the Lakers, fourth game of a 6-game trip. They're in Philly tomorrow, then in Denver. Magic played 42 of the first 48. They rested him near the start of the fourth quarter. Worthy played all but 4 minutes of regulation. Lakers have split 4 overtime games. Pistons have won them all.
I don't think that's going to be a factor in the overtime right now. Actually, the Pistons did dodge a bullet. Going into this overtime, it's going to be the Pistons offense against a very predictable isolation game by the Lakers, one that could get them in trouble in this period.
Divot's back in, and the tip to the Pistons. Edwards, Aguirre, Lambier, Rodman, and Vinnie Johnson. Aguirre working on Worthy. Hot in the fourth quarter. But not at the start of overtime. Divot's the rebound. Green, Magic, Worthy, Divac, and Scott.
First one that scores in overtime, usually first couple of baskets, big.
Worthy tosses up a running hook, no good. Edwards there for the rebound.
Right now, James Edwards being played by Vlade Divac, a matchup that was in Detroit's favor in the first period.
The leaner by Johnson off the glass.
Confident shot for the Pistons right now. They have been struggling getting the ball up and down, especially over the top of the rim.
My mistake, Aguirre on the basket, true? Right. Mark Aguirre, I took it away from him, gave it to Vinnie Johnson. Let's look at it again.
Mark Aguirre right here gets a nice little pick from James Edwards in the pocket. Vlade a little slow stepping up in his face. There's the guy they're going to have to get it from. By the way, Isaiah Thomas obviously missed the kind of player in these situations that rises to the occasion, sitting over on the bench. No help today.
Rodman just picked up his fifth. Pistons with the 2-point lead. Magic snaps it to Green, who can't tie it. But Worthy keeps it alive, and here's Byron Scott. 3:25 in OT. Aguirre on the foul.
On the double teams down that low post, the teams lately that have had success against Irvin Johnson are the teams that double team and then refront the post. Right here, Mark Aguirre should get back around in front of him, making the ball go to the other side. Rodman back on Irvin now, forces him out wide.
5 fouls now on Aguirre. Magic backing him down for the hook. Lambier's got it. 3 minutes left. Pistons by 2 and with the ball.
Aguirre or Edwards right now. Two-man game.
Foul away from the ball.
Michael Thompson, he's earned the respect of the officials during this time of the game. Vlade Divac right now, again, a little too aggressive on James Edwards. Picks up the foul and a 24-second shot clock reset for the Pistons.
Aguirre lets fly. Scott is there to clear it.
Terrible shot. Didn't need that one right now.
Scott for 3. 2 in a row for Piston ball.
They're only good when they go in. 2-point lead, you take a 3-pointer. Again, the ball to the basket. Try to drive it. Try to draw some fouls. Be aggressive.
Johnson on Lambier. And the pass intended for Edwards is swiped by Divac.
Vlade does that a lot. He has great anticipation, real long arms. If you float the ball away from Edwards' target hand, Vlade will come around and strip steal.
Winding down to 2 minutes left in overtime. Shot clock at 5. Worthy over Aguirre to tie the game at 92.
Virtually unstoppable, Bob, and getting the shot off. You just got to try to make it more and more difficult for James. The Lakers right now, their offense working down almost all the time on the clock.
29 for Worthy. Edwards from 20, too long. He's lost the touch since the early going.
Vlade did a great job of helping on Vinnie Johnson and getting back to contest. No doubt that Edwards was bothered by his hand in the face.
Divac with 5 on the shot clock. Bumps Rodman, takes it inside. A beautiful feed to Green, who beat the shot clock. And the Lakers take the lead on a nifty assist by Divac.
Again, a switch. Dennis Rodman playing Vlade Divac. It's pick-and-roll basketball, the kind of basketball you really learned back in the CYO. You're seeing it here in Auburn Hills today.
The
Very
release
effective.
barely beat the shot clock. The horn was sounding as the shot rattled around and fell through. 1:06 to play in overtime. Lakers by a bucket.
Vlade Divac is not Akeem Olajuwon. He is not Patrick Ewing. He is not David Robinson. He's the kind of player that is very unique, very versatile. You saw the steal coming over the top. You saw him help out on defense and get back to the shooter. And right here, his versatility on driving into the lane at a 7-footer to be able to dish the ball to AC Green. He is not a power player. He is a basketball player with a lot of versatility and a lot of skills, a very unique man in this game.
The Lakers don't have anybody in real foul trouble. The Pistons, with their forces already depleted by injury, have 3 guys, 3 key guys at this juncture with 5. Dumars back in. Rodman screening for him. Edwards. Divac pokes it away. Loose ball to the floor, and Worthy has it. Divac finds Green ahead of the field, and he blows the layup. And the follow. One more try. A foul finally. Well, as big a story as any, if the Lakers win this in overtime, would be this. Divac was absolutely abused by James Edwards early in the game. He comes up with 2 key defensive plays, including that one against Edwards in the last minute of overtime.
He's actually made the 4 plays that are making the difference in this game right now. He's got very long arms. Sometimes he gets himself in trouble by reaching and by gambling and overextending the defense. Mike Dunleavy likes what he sees right now, even though AC blew the deuce, the guaranteed layup. He has to make at least 2 here.
Rodman fouled out on the play, leaving with 15 points and 17 rebounds. And Green increases the Laker advantage to 3.
Right here, the Pistons definitely having problems as Michael Thompson comes in for Vlade Divac. Problems on getting good shots. Nobody right now at the Detroit end can break somebody down and take it to the basket. The Laker defense is stiffening, it's tightening, it's reaching, it's creating deflections and turnovers and forced shots.
Down by 4. Inside 45 seconds, the Pistons come back. Vinnie Johnson, quick release. Magic has the rebound, and it looks awfully bleak for the home team. Timeout, Los Angeles. Well, even if the Pistons don't pull off a miracle here, this has been a gallant effort for Chuck Daly's squad. Rodman was spectacular today. He is fouled out. Dumars has been hobbled. They are, of course, without Isaiah. John Sally went on the injured list with a bad back. He'll miss at least 5 games. They signed Gerald Henderson to a short-term contract today, played a few minutes for them. Granted, they have the home court advantage. But even here, they've been very vulnerable of late. They lost a couple of games and barely beat Seattle on a last-second shot. They're a team that's been struggling. And they showed a little bit of valor today to be able to hang in as long as they did.
They've done a great job, and still the game long from over with. 27.5 seconds left. They're down 4. Right now, the Lakers calling a timeout. Will have to bring the ball in from side out of bounds at half court. I'm sure that Chuck Daly will say one thing to his team. On the pass, you go for the body. You're going to have to foul. You want to foul as quickly as you can. Don't allow the Lakers to get it in, move it around 3 or 4 passes, and take more time off the clock. You got to foul immediately, go for the steal. Maybe the officials will swallow the whistle. You might get a layup at the other end.
When a close ball game's over, there are always several explanations for why it ended as it did, but this one is as good as any. Joe Dumars, who has been the Pistons' leader, unquestionably, in terms of the intangibles provided in the locker room and on the court since the injury to Isaiah Thomas. Statistically, he's been their leader, coming off a huge game, 35, where he played every tick of the clock on Friday night in Charlotte. Today, he is just 3 for 14, 8 points, none of them in the second half.
Definitely taking its toll on Joe right now, having to work overtime. Proud player, would do whatever it takes to win, struggling with a toe and a hamstring, but nevertheless, you got to give the Lakers credit for coming in here, especially the last 2 or 3 minutes, and making the plays. They're making the difference right now. Big play right here.
Gerald Henderson and Lance Blanks in, perhaps with the idea they may have to give a foul.
See, right now, I don't understand maybe why Mike took that timeout before. He had the ball in the front court. He had it protected. The Pistons were going to have to foul Byron Scott, and he calls the timeout and makes it a little more difficult for his team to finish this game out. Anything could happen with this kind of pressure right now.
Well, whom do you look to foul, you really don't have many options with the 5 on the floor now for the Lakers.
Well, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to foul Irvin Johnson or James Worthy. They've been in this situation too many times. And I think if you're going to make somebody catch the basketball, it has to be a guy like Vlade Divac, who may end up missing 1 or 2 shots here.
5 guards on the floor now in effect, and another Laker timeout. Los Angeles will take timeout. 5 guards on the floor for Chuck Daly as he looks to swipe the inbound pass, and barring that, tries to get somebody on the floor like Henderson or Blanks, who hasn't played much, so they're at liberty to give a foul without fouling out. He's lost Rodman already. He's got 2 other guys with 5. This is the lineup tonight on NBC, as we've mentioned. America at War with Tom Brokaw and Jane Pauley. And Tom reports from Saudi Arabia as his contribution to the Expose program. And then it's the network television premiere of Good Morning Vietnam, starring Robin Williams.
96-92, 27.5 seconds left. Again, a lot of time. They will foul immediately. The Lakers are going to have to make their free throws. That would put them 6 ahead. The Pistons with 3 timeouts would take it in at half court, try to get up to 3. There could be another 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes played in this game because they're not going to allow this clock to move quickly. Detroit with 2 timeouts. Now let's take it over to Steve Jones.
All right, thanks, Pat. What Chuck Daly has done is put in 5 small guards, very active, trying to prevent the inbound pass. They are going to foul coming out of the play, but they want to make it difficult for the Lakers. You've seen the last 2 possessions. A.C. Green has been a trigger man, tentative about throwing the ball in, does not want to make a mistake.
The best trigger man, Steve, in this game, at least for the Lakers in the 9 years that I coached, is playing over in Italy right now. Michael Cooper was a guy that we always put over there on the side out of bounds in pressure situations. He's a guard. He understood what had to be done. But right now, AC just has not found the target, and he doesn't want to make a pass that's going to lead to a quick layup.
How difficult has it been for you to sit here and watch and comment about your old team?
Well, I think if anybody's heard my analysis, they'll know.
Dumars has to come over and foul Johnson. The Lakers, who are a better than 80% free throw shooting team for the season, you saw all the high percentages on the graphic a moment ago, have made just 14 of 25 today. That's 56%.
This is the one guy you didn't want to foul. Irvin at 91% eats these free throws alive, especially when it means winning time. Right now, Bill Laimbeer sitting over on the sidelines. Team down by 4. Really doesn't approve of that. He says wrong guy to foul. You know, he's a guy that understands what this game is about.
And they get Edwards and Laimbeer back in with Magic on the line, hitting them both, and Daly wants a timeout. The Pistons will be 0 for 4 on NBC this year. Chuck Daly does not want to see us coming, even if you do pick up the dinner check.
Definitely, they haven't had the kind of luck on this network that they would have here at home. But however, next week in Los Angeles, there's going to be a basketball game that will bring back also one of the great players in this game, Hakeem Olajuwon, but it will be preceded by game 1 of that doubleheader, Portland at Boston. That game next Sunday at 12:30.
And then the Rockets and the Lakers from the Forum. The Lakers will stay 4 back of Portland in the loss column. Meanwhile, the Pistons will be 5 back of Chicago in the loss column in the Central. Celtics, of course, with the best overall record in the Eastern Conference. Perhaps tellingly, although you must factor in the injuries to Isaiah, to Sally, and the weakened condition of Dumars, the Pistons will now be 1-7 against the Big 5 of the West, against the Lakers, the Trailblazers, the Suns, Utah, and San Antonio.
Well, the Eastern Conference teams haven't fared well going out west anyway, Bob. I think it's somewhere around 35-70, a 1-loss percentage. But the Western Conference has proven to be formidable. They have a lot of great teams that have grown. But right now, the only guy that's interested in any kind of team is Chuck Daly with his. He has an opportunity to get off a 3-point shot, 25 seconds to go. Look for Mark Aguirre, okay? He's a guy that can stick it from downtown, and also Billy Laimbeer, who's put up a number of trays this year from that area. Probably a pick and roll where Laimbeer will flare to the open spot. Again, you got to get to him quick. He is the kind of guy that has a quick release. You can bet the Lakers. You can bet the Lakers right now after Bill Laimbeer has gone 1 for 8, still will guard him. They'll very rarely switch. It's going to be tough for this team to get off the 3. You want to play at home. Don't allow anybody to take a 3.
Aguirre to inbound. Vinnie Johnson goes right to the hole instead, and Divac fouls him, and they get the three-point play that way, at least potentially.
Right now, Vinnie Johnson, instead of going for the 3, taking the drive down the gut, getting to the basket, ran a great play from the sideline. Vinnie Johnson a pick. Laimbeer flared for the three-point shot. However, Vlade Divac had to get over there and help. You should have let him go. Your only ally right now is the clock. Unless you could have got a clean block, don't give him the three-point play. Pistons are in this basketball game.
But Vinnie Johnson, who has struggled all year at the free throw line, as we told you earlier, 59% this year against 75% for his career, can't complete the three-point play, and the Pistons foul, desperately trying for the rebound.
Again, the Pistons right now with a final timeout. We'll take it. There's a possibility they could go quick off the free throw. Magic's got to make 2 of them.
Magic looking for his 30th point with the first free throw here. He's going to fall just shy of a triple-double. He's got 11 assists and 8 rebounds.
It would be safe to say, Bob, probably Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Charles Barkley, the only 2 or 3 players in this league that are going to be right there with Irvin when it comes MVP time. I'm sure that Karl Malone could be considered also.
Magic has won it 3 times. He misses them both. And the Pistons have not breathed their last. Timeout with 20 seconds left.
You know what happens with all of this going back and forth? There were 27 seconds about 5 minutes ago on the clock. Timeout, timeout, lose your concentration. You really think like you got the game in tow. I think when Mike Dunleavy called the timeout and was forced to take a second timeout because he could not get the ball in bounds, maybe has put the team in a position where they become lackadaisical. Right now they're not finishing it, and the only thing they could end up with here is another nightmare if they don't finish this thing off strong right now. Pistons come out and get a deuce. It's anybody's game. Lakers right now 16 out of 29. Definitely not as proficient. They usually shoot 80% on the season. The Pistons 19 for 27 from the line. You got to make your free throws going down the stretch, closing games out. Otherwise, you could face a team that has the ability to come back like the Pistons.
With the exception of Vinnie Johnson, the Pistons have shot pretty well at the free throw line, but Vinnie has made just 2 of 5.
The last time they came out of a timeout, Chuck Daly set up a great play for Vinnie Johnson. He popped to the top of the key. He had a little pick with Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer floated to the three-point line. Vinnie took the ball down the gut, got the ball in the basket, cuts it to 4. Magic misses 2 free throws. Right now, look for Vinnie Johnson or Mark Aguirre again to try to take the ball to the basket. Defenses have a tendency to be too defensive, and they allow you to break them down. Over to Steve Jones right now.
Well, the arena is half empty, but there's plenty of drama still here. Daly has drawn the same play that he had the last time. They'll either look for the quick layup or the three-pointer in either corner. Aguirre, the trigger man.
Pistons down by 4. 20 seconds left. Vinnie Johnson against Magic Johnson. He lets him go, and he blows the layup. They have to foul Byron Scott. Gerald Henderson does it.
Again, Irvin Johnson playing Vinnie Johnson on the one-on-one. Vinnie going to his left, gets all the way to the rim, but he really doesn't finish the shot. I think he probably thinks Irvin may foul him here, blows the left-handed layup. Irvin smart in letting him go, knowing he had a 2-point lead, not putting him on the line for the 3-point attempt, thus not stopping the clock. Byron Scott now has the pressure to finish this game for the Lakers.
12 seconds. And he ups the lead to 5.
Chuck, with no timeouts left, will go quick. Usually most teams will have some kind of devised play, penetration kick for a 3. For all intents and purposes, the game now in the hands of the Lakers.
In the game's 53rd minute, LA hits the century mark. Gerald Henderson hurries. Magic lets him go. There's the layup. 5.5 seconds. 4-point lead. And they foul Magic.
Not much of a foul, but the official anticipated a little more serious contact. Magic spins out of it, but still has a chance to put it away. Chuck Daly right now, not a very happy man. I talked to him last night, Bob, and he knows he's got some problems. He has his hands tied. The team is not really performing that well, but they're going to have to suck it up. They're going to have to buckle down. They can't worry about the injuries anymore and play Piston basketball, which is solid defense and a good methodical offense.
This will do it. John Long, a 3. There's the buzzer. If nothing else, the last foul gave Magic a chance to go over 30. He finishes the game with 31 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds in overtime. The Lakers continue their very successful road trip, and the Pistons, though they fought very hard, go down to another defeat in the midst of the cruelest stretch of the season for them. For Steve Jones and Pat Riley, I'm Bob Costas. So long.